today. Start in child's pose. Go ahead and take your knees as wide as you need to. Bring your big toes together. Today, let's go ahead and start in a more dynamic way. You can tiptoe your fingertips forward toward the front edges of the mat. Lift the wrists, the elbows, the armpits. And as your arms reach long, maybe inch your forehead a little closer to your thumbs. Maybe pull your belly in and feel those thigh bones draw back into the hips. Take a few deep breaths here, allowing the body to settle. Welcome yourself to this practice, to this moment, to the first day of spring. How can we begin anew in our practice? And clawing the mat with your hands, come on up to table pose. Maybe adjust the width of the knees so they're directly underneath the hips. And then it's up to you. You can tuck your toes away under, keep them pointed. Take a few rounds of mad cat and sacred cow. As you exhale, really push the floor away from you, round that spine. And then as you inhale, drop the belly, let those shoulders slide away from the ears, lift the head. Do one more round. And then come into a neutral spine. I'm going to have you take your right armpit forward, your right hip back. Just getting really long on the right side. And then switch, take the left armpit forward, the right hip back. And one more time, go to each side. So naturally, as that right side lengthens a little bit, that left side will contract slightly. Just notice what you feel here. And then come back to center. Wiggle your knees back just a little bit, tuck the toes under, lift the knees up off the floor. Take the hips back for downward facing dog. And, check it out. How are you feeling? Maybe it's morning for you and you're feeling a little stiff. Maybe that's the time of day when you feel most energized. Just check in, pedal it out, bending one knee and then the other. Maybe turning your head a bit from side to side. And then when you've done an even number on both sides, go ahead and start to press your thigh bones back into those hamstrings. Can you create one long line between your wrists and your hips? And then inhaling, float forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. Stay here. Nice breath in. And then exhale, press back into downward facing dog. You can bend the knees a little bit. We're going to do that again. Inhale, come forward into plank. And then exhale, take it back into down dog. Good, and then one more time. Inhale, come forward into plank. And then exhale, back into downward facing dog. In your down dog pose, bend the elbows slightly so they're pointing toward the sides of the room. If you feel a greater sense of space and awareness between those shoulder blades, notice if you've gotten light on the index finger side of your hands, and if you have, really push those down. Start to swing your triceps toward your thighs, biceps toward the front of your mat. And then start to push those arms a little bit straighter here. Nice work for the shoulders. And then coming forward into plank. Go ahead and drop your knees. I want to do cat-cow again, but I want to do it a little bit differently. This time as you round your spine, pull the belly in and look up slightly. I know, unconventional. And then drop the belly and look down. And we'll try that again. Mad cat, round spine, look up. Kind of flossing the muscles through the upper back, the shoulders. Place where most of us carry our tension. One more time. It's also kind of fun to mix things up a little bit, do familiar things in unusual ways. So go ahead, come back into a neutral spine. You can once again pick those knees up, press back in a down dog, and then step your feet maybe almost as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back maybe a third of the way, so you're in a really short, wide dog. Go ahead, just wag your tail a little bit here from side to side. And then shifting the weight to that left hand. Take your right hand and reach across. Maybe some of you can cup the left heel with that right hand. Others may only reach the ankle or the shin. It doesn't matter. You're just looking for a little bit of a twist here. Start to turn and look up underneath that left armpit. Take those hips back. If you're standing on your right hand, maybe just feel that beautiful lengthening behind that right shoulder. And then release. You can switch sides. Put your right hand down. Reach across that right lower leg, ankle or heel with the left hand. And again, just notice the breath. Has anything changed? Hopefully it's still entering and leaving the body in a nice, easy pace. And then go ahead, release. Walk your hands back towards your feet. You can bend the knees, cup the elbows with the hands, and hang for ragdoll. Release the elbows. Place your fingertips on the floor in front of your feet. Start to swing the spine forward so it's parallel with the floor. And then bend your knees. Get nice and low in those hips here. And then we'll sweep your arms forward. As the hips move back, fingertips reach forward. And then maybe sweep the arms behind you and interlace your hands. Open up your chest. Good. You can stay here, or maybe start to drop those ribs down between your thigh bones at the crown of the head. Move toward the floor. Reach your knuckles toward the ceiling. And more options. Maybe start to those legs straight, letting the ribs stay in close proximity to the inner thighs. Release your hands, and then bending the knees. Go ahead, push the legs straight. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, hands together in front of your heart. And walk forward to the front of your mat. Take a nice stance. When you're ready, inhale, reach arms arms to the sky. Exhale, slow dive forward. Take the arms wide. Let the hands rest on the floor, on your shins. If you have blocks, you can use those. And with your inhale, try to reach the crown of your head forward. Nice long spine. And then exhale, fold. Little bend in the knees. Reach out to rise all the way up. And exhale, release your arms by your side. That's a half sun salutation. Let's do that again. Inhale. Just beginning to synchronize movement and breath. Dive forward as you exhale. Inhale, long spine, look to the sky. And then exhale, refold your body. Little bend in the knees, reach out to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's add on, inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat spine. Exhale, right leg back. So you want to make sure that your feet are not on a balance beam, that you've got some space there so that your legs can be nice and steady. And then you can either stay here or come on up into a crescent lunge. I'm in the plants a little bit here, but hopefully you have some space at home. Good. So feel those feet rooting down into the floor. Let your hands rise up. And let's open up the arms and just twist to the left. Yeah. Try to keep your spine vertical. You can stay here. You can place your left hand down on that right leg. Take the arm up and over. And then slowly coming back. Place your right hand on the mat, left arm to the sky. And then exhale, release. Graze the back of that left heel with your left hand, and then inhale, take it up again. 2 more times. Maybe going a little further each time. And then exhale. Plant your hands. Let's step back into plank pose, top of a push-up. Pause here for a moment. Just notice difference between right side and left. And very slowly, let's lower down through Chaturanga Dandasana to the floor. Point your toes. Extend the arms alongside your body, palms to the floor. And then inhale, take the head of the arm bones back. Maybe peel the head, the chest up off the mat. Reach those arms behind you. Maybe pick up the legs. A little more challenging is to bring the inner ankles and feet together. Take another breath. Maybe come up just a little bit higher. And then exhale, release. Hands under shoulders, toes under heels. Push up into plank. Back into down facing dog. So remember the action we did earlier of bending the elbows out to the side a bit, creating some space between the shoulder blades and the spine. You can revisit that. You can work on rolling those triceps toward the back edge of your mat, your biceps slightly forward. And then shift the weight to the left foot. Reach up with that right. Open up the hip and pause here for a moment. Outer edge of that right foot reaching up to the ceiling. Check in with the shoulders. Maybe that left armpit is drooping a bit. If you can, see if you can lift it. Keeping that left outer hip moving back. Go ahead, bend the right knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Bring it forward. See if you can plant a kiss on your kneecap. And then take it back. Let's try that again. Bring the knee forward, but this time touch your right tricep. and take it back. Cross the body, right knee, left tricep. Good. And then take it back. One more time, but this time plant your right foot between your hands. Remember, not on a balance beam. Keep those feet hip width apart. Inhale, come on up. Nice grounding point, place to check in for the strength and the stability in the lower body. Reach, freedom in the upper body. Open arms wide, you can start to twist to your right. So as that left arm reaches forward, can that left heel reach back? If you want to take that right hand to the left thigh, go ahead, opening up. Left hand to the floor, right arm to the sky, simple twist. And then move and breathe. Exhale, graze the back of that right heel, the right hand, and inhale, take it up and back. Good. Step that left foot forward and fold. Little bend in the knees, reach out to rise up. And exhale, release your arms by your side. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, left leg back. We'll do the same thing a little quicker. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, hands down. Leave your left hand there. Inhale, right arm up. And exhale, hand down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower slowly. Point your toes. Come up for a baby cobra. Stay here for a moment. So really ground those feet. Press all 10 toes into the mat. And if you can, take your shoulders up and back, down, and then is there a way to create some space between the vertebra and the scapula, the spine and the shoulder blades. Maybe sway just a little bit here. And then slowly lower down, getting longer as you go. Tuck your toes under, push up into plank, and back into down facing dog. Lift the left leg. Open up that hip. Check in with that right shoulder. Let it lift just a little bit if it's dropping. Pull your belly in and lengthen your tailbone toward your left heel. And then maybe, just maybe, start to bend the knee. Point your toes to the right side of the room. Check in with your breath. Is it still so steady? The unchanging, constant. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Lower the hip, bring the knee to your nose, maybe plant a kiss. And then take that left leg straight back. Good. Left knee comes forward, taps that left tricep. And then take it back. Cross your body, left knee, right tricep. And then take it back. Final time, that left foot steps between the hips. And then come on up. Oh yeah. Open into the twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, left arm up. and lower it down. Step your right foot forward, long flat spine, and fold. Little bend in the knees, reach out to rise all the way up. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. You can step the inner edges of the feet together. And come into Utkatasana, fierce pose. Pull that belly in, reach the ring fingers a little bit higher. I know you can't see mine, but they're reaching. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. I'm going to have you shift your weight to your left foot and just step back, or step out, sorry, with the right foot. And then step it back. And we'll do that again. As that right foot steps out, that left hip is not moving at all. You want to work to really hold that hip steady. Good. One more, I think. And then forward, fold. Good, rebend the knees. Nice and deep. And then take those arms back up into Utkatasana. Hands together in front of your heart. Shift your weight to your right foot this time. Step out with the left. You may notice that this side may be a little more challenging. We all have one hip that's a little more stable, a little more flexible. Just good information. Nice. Coming back to center. Sit a little bit lower, reach a little bit higher, and then rise up to stand. Whew. All right, down on Utkatasana. Bring your hands to your heart. Shift your weight to your left foot. Tap out 3 times. Keep that left hip and leg very steady. Shift the weight to the right. Stay in your Utkatasana. Pick up the left foot. Start to kick it back, kick it back, kick it back. Keep the right knee bent. And as you push the right foot into the floor and that left foot back, and you bring your sternum toward your thumbs. Whew. And then go ahead, start to straighten both legs. Warrior 3. You can stay here. You can open your arms wide. You can reach forward. Whew. And then slowly touch down with those hands and land. Nice. Lower your left heel down to the floor. Reach your left arm forward. Take it up over your head and follow it into Warrior 2. Working on building a little heat today. Slow movement, steady, stabilizing and strengthening movements. Good. Go ahead and reverse it. Take that left arm down the leg, take your right arm up, and then coming forward, reach. You can place your right hand on the floor. Take your left arm over your ear. Another option is to just leave the forearm on your thigh. It's a way to back your belly up. In fact, back that top hip up a little bit. Reach longer. And then put your left hand on your hip. Let's step forward. Come into Ardha Chandrasana. Reaching left hand up. Balancing half moon pose. Good. And then put your left hand down on the floor. Turn your left hip and toes straight down to the mat and listen carefully. Bend both knees. Can you tap your right calf with your left knee? And then inhale, straighten both legs. Let's try that again. Good. Last one. Exhale. Bring that left knee towards your right calf, but then keep going. Put your foot, your shin, your knee, your hip down. Sit up nice and tall. Turn toward that right leg for a twist. As you breathe in, sit up a little taller. As you breathe out, twist. One more time, breathe in. And then exhale, come back to center. So you have choices here. You can put your hands on the floor and step into a forward fold, and we'll meet you there in a moment. If you're feeling pretty springy today, you can plant your hands and just jump back, go through a vinyasa. When you've gotten to your down dog, take a couple of breaths here. And then as you empty the body with your next exhalation, bend those knees and float forward. Coming back into Utkatasana. Second side. Tap your left foot out 3 times. Keep that right leg and hip beautifully steady. And then shift the weight to the left foot. Bend the right knee more deeply, and then start to hinge forward as your heart presses into the thumbs. That right heel kicks back, that left heel into the floor. And then go ahead, push both legs straight. Stay here, arms out, forward. Take a breath. Check in there. Touch down. You're going to land the ball of the right foot. Lower the heel down to the mat. Reach forward with that right arm and follow it up, warrior 2. To the skies, those legs root down deeply. Reverse it. And then come into your extended side angle pose. You can put your left forearm down on your thigh as you reach forward. You can put your hand on your ankle. Whatever works for you. Remember, the point is not the shape you're making with your body, but the quality of your breath, the depth of your attention and awareness. Put your right hand down on your hip. Let's start to slide forward. Coming into Ardha Chandrasana. Balancing half moon. So that lifted leg, you should be able to see the toes. Try not to take it behind you. That corkscrews that left hip forward. So kick the toes a little more toward the wall you're facing. Get that standing hip back in space. Lower the right hand down to the floor. Lower the hip, point and toes down. And then let's do that tap. Bend both knees. Right knee to left knee, to calf. And then straighten both legs. And again. This time, land your right foot, knee, and hip for our twist. Take the left hand on the floor behind you, sit up nice and tall. Try to relax the shoulders away from the ears. You can stay here,
Cross the elbow over.
Good. And then unwind. So, you can just stay here. If you really want another vinyasa, feel free, plant your hands, jump back, go through it. We'll meet up in down facing dog. How's that? Perhaps the moment you've been waiting for. Pigeon. Take your right knee, bring it to the outside of that right wrist. I like to back my left leg up just a little bit. You can stay here, really activate that front foot. Press the outer edge of that right foot into the floor. Coming forward, you can stay here on the elbows. You can stack your fists or hands. Take a few breaths here. So again, breath is constant. It's a nice steady in and out. That's where the attention returns to time and time again. We all, being human, get caught up in our heads. We start worrying, we start thinking, we start planning. And the practice is really just to notice when that happens and return back to the present. My nephew Christian, when he was little, at his birthday party, went around saying in the cutest way, "Thank you for the pleasants." His birthday pleasants. Step back in the down dog. I always think of that. Exchanging the word present, pleasant. Step your left foot forward. Left knee to the outer left wrist. Move that right knee back. Coming into your pigeon on the second side. So do take care of the low back. You want to keep that belly pulling in. You want to stay dynamic through the legs. One of my very first teachers often said, this isn't flopasana. So don't just flop into the pose and start dreaming about something else. Stay here. When you're ready, come on up. You can swing your legs around front. So, celebrate the first day of spring with a little bit of core work. Can just try balancing on the sit bones, hugging your knees into your chest. Maybe that's plenty for you today. You can also put your hands on the floor. It's feeling like your legs are made of lead. Some of you may be able to swing those shins vertical. Maybe reach forward with your hands. Maybe you can start to straighten those legs. And then maybe lift the corners of the mouth. Look happy about the choice you made. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Spread your toes. Press the balls of the feet toward the wall they're reaching toward. Nice. And then bend those knees. I'm going to have you push those legs straight ahead as you lie back. And then bring everything back. Push away. And come back. Last one. Embrace those knees. Slowly roll back onto the floor. You can keep your right knee in, take your left leg out on the mat. Good, you can straighten that right leg, maybe holding on to the back of the thigh bone with your hands. If you can reach the big toe with the first two fingers and thumb of your right hand. You can do that and put your left hand on your thigh. If you have a strap or a belt or a scarf or something you want to loop around that foot, you can do that. Just be here for a couple of breaths. For those of you who'd like to do another modification, you can place the hands on the back of that calf, lift the head and the shoulders, and just bring your forehead toward your shin. Notice what's happening in that left leg. Don't let it get floppy. I'm going to keep it vertical and dynamic. It's part of this pose. And then slowly, slowly roll back down to the mat. Bend the right knee. Pass it over to the left. Simple twist. You can lie back on your back. Straighten your right leg. Maybe put your hands on your belly. Make sure the back of the neck is long. In fact, you can lift the head up and just inch that occipital ridge closer to the back edge of the mat. Notice the difference between right side and left. And then bring the left knee up. You can switch the grip to the back of the leg and start to straighten it. You can hold on to it. Hold on to the big toe with the first two fingers and thumb of your hand. Right hand can help soothe the front of that right hip and weigh it down. If you're still with me, you'd like to bring your forehead and shin toward one another, go ahead and do that. Remember, keep that breath nice and steady. Your awareness riveted to this moment is pleasant. And slowly lower back down, bend your left knee. Take it across your body, twist. Next time you exhale, roll back onto your back. You can hug knees in. You can do happy baby. Whatever feels right for you. And then Shavasana. Go ahead and lay your legs down on the floor. Hands can be on your belly or out by your side. Do soften your brow. Muscles around your eyes. Maybe part your teeth slightly. And rest. Each time you inhale, imagine you could drink in space, light, healing. Each time you exhale, imagine you could just relinquish worry, stagnation, fear. And I'd love to share with you one of my favorite poems by Wendell. He says, when despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water. The great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. If you have time or the desire to stay in Shavasana, please go ahead and do so. I want to just take a moment to thank you so much for showing up, for taking time out of your day to do these practices. Slow things down, focus, maybe practice being in your body a little differently. Namaste.